Hey guys, if you're looking to apply for US tourist visa in 2025, this is your video. Watch till the end and let's go. If you're new to this channel, my name is Nikhileshkoshti, and in this video I will try to explain DS-160 form. So basically people want to apply US tourist visa for their parents, for themselves or for their loved ones, and sometimes this DS-160 form is literally very hard. So I have applied for my parents from India, and I would admit that it was one of the hardest step or form I had ever came across. So whatever it would be, if you have never done this before, sit back, relax, watch this video till the end, and let me know if you have any questions. So without wasting for a minute, let's jump into the video. You will see this page. So basically we require two things. First, we need to fill this DS-160 form. Second, we need to go to one page, a URL called US Travel Docs, and accordingly we need to mention that DS-160 application ID into this website, pay US tourist visa fee, and after that we need to schedule a date for the interview. So, and on this page you can see that here they have asked for a location, like from where location you will be applying for a visa. In my case, I will be applying from my parents, so you can even mention like whichever country you belongs to. In my case it's India, so let's select India, Mumbai, and accordingly it will ask for QR code. Let me enter one. So after that you will see over here that the first step is in applying for the US non-immigrant visa is to complete application. It will take 90 minutes to do this, and after submit your application, once you get your DS-160 form, you also need to move to the next steps, which is scheduling your interview and pay your interview fees. So they already mentioned over here. Along with it, there has been one more additional information, which is write down the application ID. So you need to mention you need to note down the application ID which can be used in order to retrieve your application. So it is really very important. Along with it, you also need to click on save after filling up information, because the system will time out after 20 minutes of inactivity and all the unsaved information will be lost. So let's proceed, and we will start with let's say I'll reload this page. Let's select, in my case it was India, Mumbai, selected. Let's start an application. So on this page we can see that Computer Fraud and Abuse Act noise, Computer Fraud and Abuse Act noise is accordingly like I click on agree. So along with it, you can also, they mention that please record application ID in a safe and secure place. It will look like this. Now there are so many questions. Let me scroll up. Okay, so there are so many questions for security that you can choose, like what is the given name of your mother's mother and every other things. In my, let's say I select first one for example, and application, we got this page. So over here they have mentioned some terms and agreement. I have clicked on I agree, and after that an application, I got this page. So basically this is related to terms and agreement. I clicked on I agree, and after that you can see over here that we got our application ID. Along with it, they have been mentioned some security questions as well. So there are a few security questions that you can select. Let's say if I click first one, And for example, I have added random question, but over here you can choose your own preferred security questions along with the answer. It can be used in order to retrieve application. Let's click on continue. Along with it, I will save this in one of the notepad somewhere over here so that it would be easy to print out an application. Okay, so on this page you can see that there are a few things on the left that we need to fill. First of all, it is the starting page, which is we already filled that. Along with it, you can see that there has been few pages like personal one, personal two, travel, travel companion, previous user, US travel, address, phone, passport, US contact, family, work and education, security and background. So we need to fill all this information, and after that, one by one we also need to click on save so that it all the information will get saved. So on the first option we need to add first we need to add a surname. So let's fill this form. As I said that I am filling my form for my parents, so I need to fill two DS-160 form, one for my mother and father. And after that, while scheduling date for US visa for paying of fee, for that I can add my mother name under the dependent of my father's application, so that only one what you say receipt would be enough to, one account would be enough to pay the tourist visa fee, but that will be covered in the second video. Let's focus on filling DS-160 form first. So first thing is to have a surname. So in my case, first of all I will fill form for my father, and after that I will fill also for my mother with the same process. So over here we also need to mention all the surnames that are listed in your passport. If only one name is listed, let's say somebody have only one name listed on a passport, enter that surname. So over here on the right hand side you can see what suggestions are given if you stuck in filling up these fields. Given name, somebody doesn't have given name in their passport, so they mentioned that we need to enter FNU. So FNU means first name unknown in the given name. In my case it's my father's name that I need to enter over here. Third, if they mention that I need to add full name in native language. In my case, my father or me, it doesn't apply over here. Now, have you ever used or the any other name made in religious profession alias? So they mentioned that other name used including maiden you are known by or you have been known in the past. So in my case, it is no. Do you have any telecode that represent your name? So we don't have. Male, marital status married. Along with this, over here I need to mention date and place of birth for my father. And city. We also need to add state name and country India. After that, once this has been done, let's say I add for the sake I add just the sample name, okay, or I can add first name. Let's click on personal too, but before that I would also suggest to click on save first. So over here it will throw this kind of error because if you click save on this page, it will check whether these all details have been filled or not. So it's better to go to the last fully prepared or fully completed page. Let's click on this is completed and click on save over here. It will ask your application has been saved to the database. For the next 30 days you will be able to retrieve application from the database by providing the application ID and answering security questions. So Let's click on continue application. Along with this, I will also mention how to retrieve your information. So let me show you. Let's click on save, exit application. Okay, so TS non-immigrant visa. Over here, my embassy location was Mumbai. Let's click on BD P. See, initially we have clicked on start an application for starting a new application, but we already got our application ID. So now we need to click on retrieve an application. So they ask for application ID. Let's mention it somewhere. My application ID that I got previously in this video, return application. So it was this, and the application has been retrieved. You can see application ID, and the estimated time is 90 minutes, and they also mention expiration date and everything. So let's click on personal too. So select country of origin, it is India. Do you have any other held nationality other than one indicated above one nationality? So this mention like region of origin, right? Like where you were born. Somebody also have dual nationality, then you need to mention yes, and you need to mention which country you have nationality of, but in my case it is no. Are you a permanent resident of a country other than your country mentioned indicated above? So if you have any other permanent residency of any other country, you need to mention over here. In my case, it is no. So over here, national identification number, they mention that national identification number is a unique number that your government provides. So in my case, Indian government provide passport number. So I can mention passport number in this particular field, and if it doesn't apply, then you can also click on doesn't apply. But in my case, I will enter my passport information. After that, they mention that US government provide unique number to those who seek employment, like social security number and taxpayer ID number. This doesn't apply to me, so I'll click on doesn't apply, and I will click on next travel. As I said, I have mentioned passport ID. Let's click on save, continue, then click on travel. In this page, we need to mention what is our purpose of travel to the US. So if you click on this, there are n number of options over here. So like foreign government officials, temporary business or pleasure visitor, alien in transit, and student visa for academic or language student, for intra-company transferee, and many more. But over here, in my case, it is a tourist visa for my parents. So let's click on business or pleasure visitor B category. After that, we need to mention specify. Now see, they mention that in B class we have three different options: business conference, tourism, medical treatment, business personal. That is B1 and B2. So if you click on this, they mention like three: B1, B2, and B1 and B2. So this visa, particularly B1, B2, also denotes, like, let me show you exact example. So over here you can see that a B1 B2 visa refer to combined US visitor visa that allow holder to travel for both business and pleasure purpose, while a B1 is solely for business travel and B2 is solely for tourism or visiting friends or family. In most cases, people are issued a B1 B2 enabling them to use the visit for either business or pleasure doing on their need. So basically, if you have any conference you want to attend, the people normally select B1 and B2, but in our case it would be just B2. Now, have you made any specific travel plans or not? So normally, if you have every other travel plans like flight number and everything you need to mention over here. Like if you're unsure of your date of arrival in US or date of departure from US, please provide an estimate. So when you are going to land, like the departure flight and city and location, everything. In my case, I need to click on no, as I haven't made any travel plan, which is normal in most of the cases. So let's say I click this is approximate date. So basically this date is approximate date of your arrival when you want to arrive in US. And after that, length of stay in US. So basically if my parents are going or me, we are going for just 1 week of travel. So you can even mention like how many months you want to stay or travel, or when you're traveling. The B2 is basically a tourist visa, right? So people, weeks are no most commonly selected. So let's select weeks, and which would be like 1 week. After that, they mention their address where you will stay in the US. So you, let's say you have some address where you are already planning to stay, you can mention over here. If you don't have, you can mention the hotel address where you will probably gonna book your day, book your room when you got when you get your visa and when you travel to the city. So in my case, I have mentioned a hotel in US in New York. So let's select that. And the person paying for your trip. So in my case, um, my father would be paying for the trip. So it will be like self. Let's click save, continue. Let's click on travel companion. So here, traveling with other person, you should answer yes to this question if you're traveling with family or a part of an organized tour or performing group or an athlete team. You need to list individual who are traveling for the purpose of employment. You do not need to list individual for the purpose of employment with the same employer. So in my case, my dad would be traveling with my mom. So let's click, are there any person traveling with you? Yes. Are you traveling as a part of a group of organization? So in my case, it is no. So after that, I need to mention surname. So basically, this particular application ID is of my dad. So over here, I need to mention my mom's details. So let me fill the surname. After that, my mom's name and relationship. It would be like spouse. So normally people travel with their wife, children, so they can even add over here like any other another person. And after that, you can mention like you're traveling with your parents, child, other relative, friends, associate, and many more. In my case, it doesn't apply, so it will be just spouse. Let me fill that, and after that, I will click on previous US travel. Those details over here, they mention about previous US travel information. Have you ever been in the US? In that case, it is no for my parents, but people also click yes when you have visited for the last time, where you need to mention date, month, and year, and how many, like how long you have visited or stayed in US. Do you or did you ever hold a US driver license? You need to mention yes, then driver license information. In that case, then no. In my case, it is no. Okay. Have you ever been issued a US visa? So you need to mention like last visa issuing and all those related information. It would be no in my case, which is very common among people. Have you ever been refused a US visa or been refused admission to the United States or withdrawn your application of for admission at the port of entry? In my case, it is no. Have you ever filmed and filed an immigration petition on your behalf with the US Citizen and Immigration Service? In my case, it is no. Let's click on address. So over here, you need to mention your home address, your street address, your city, like where you are currently staying, basically Indian address or whichever city you belongs to. So whichever country you belongs to, sorry. So street address, city, state, postal code, your country. After that, you need to mention is your mailing address the same as your home address? Yes. Over here, you need to mention your phone number, primary phone number. Along with this, in my case, I have mentioned two mobile number. One my dad's mobile number and another one my siblings mobile number, so that if one is not reachable, then they can even get a message on the second one. After that, have you used any other mobile number in the last 5 years? In my case, it is no. Email address, I have mentioned my email address, as my dad doesn't use email ID or doesn't pay attention to the inboxes. But in your case, if your parents, or you need to mention your email ID over here. Have you ever used any other email ID in the last 5 years? So basically, I haven't used any other email ID. It's just my primary email ID. After that, so this mention about social media presence. So do you have any social media presence? Select from the list. In the space next to the platform name, please do not provide your password. If you are used another one social media platform, you can click on add another, and you can mention over here. There are so many other options like Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and everything. So you can mention LinkedIn, or you can mention your LinkedIn ID. After that, you can even mention your Facebook and Facebook ID. In my case, it was Facebook. So I have mentioned my dad's Facebook ID over here. And after that, do you wish to provide information about your presence or any other website or application you have used within the last 5 years to create or share content, photos, videos, status update? So in my case, it was no. If you have yes, then you need to mention another social media platform and handle and everything. So provide the name of platform and the social unique social media identifier for each social media platform you would like to list. This doesn't include private messaging on personal to person service, which is just WhatsApp. So it is just no in my case. After that, let me click on save and click on next, which is passport information. So when we click on passport, it asks for passport travel document type. So there are regular, official, diplomatic, pager, other. So which is in our case, or mostly which will be regular. You need to mention your passport document number, which is a passport number. After that, there's the option for passport book number. So passport book number is commonly called the inventory control number. If you have passport book number, you may or may not have a passport book number in a passport. The location on a passport will vary depending on the country that issue your passport. Please contact your passport issuing authority if you are unable to determine whether or not your passport contains a book number. So in the Indian passport, it is not applicable. So let's click on doesn't apply. Over here I selected India. Where was the passport travel document issued? You need to mention the city where it was issued, and in my case it was Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and India. After that, you also need to mention your dad's issuance date of your passport and the expired date mentioned on the passport. After that, have you ever lost a passport or had one stolen? If it happened, then you need to mention your all the information. In my case, it was no. So let's click on save and move to US contact. Passport detail. Here it comes US point of contact information. So US point of contact can be any individual in the US who knows you and can verify if necessary your identity. If you do not have personally know anyone in the US, you may enter the name for store, company, or the organization you plan to visit during your trip. But let's say you don't have anyone who knows, you don't know anyone in US, you can even mention do not know, organization name do not know, and after that over here it won't ask you this page. But let's say you have your friend or any other person who you know in US, you can mention their name. After that, you can even mention your friend's name or your relative name, which organization they works for. In my case, it was do not know. And you can mention, if it is a friend, then you can mention your friends to the relationship to you field. You need to add friends. After that, over here, you need to mention US street address of your friend, city, state, zip code, his mobile number, and after that his email ID. And after that, we need to click on next, which is family information. Over here, we need to mention all the details that has been present on your passport. You need to mention over here. So in my case, I need to mention my grandfather's name, surname, his name, and birth date. Is your father in the US? In my case, it is no. Like my dad's father is in US, it means that, so it is no. And after that, my dad's mother, my grandmother's name, surname, date of birth, no. Do you have any other immediate relative not including parents in United States? So immediate relative means fiance, spouse, child, and sibling in US. So let's say you are in US and you want to apply your parents tourist visa from India. Then on your dad perspective, you need to mention yes in this, where you need to mention your details, everything, relationship, whether it is your child or, and the relationship status, what status do you have currently in US. In my case, no one, we don't know anyone in US. We don't have any immediate relatives, so I'll click on no. Do you have any other relatives in United States? As I mentioned, if you have any other relatives that you have added in US contact, you need to add yes over here. If you don't know any other relatives in US, then it is fine. You need to do any other relative, you can click on no and proceed further. I need to, as you can see under family, there has been option for relatives, and after that it asks for details for spouse. So in this profile, I need to mention my, this is my dad's profile, so I need to mention my mom's name, surname, and all those information. Vice versa, on mom's application, which I will fill after this one, I need to mention my dad's details. So you need to mention your spouse details and everything. The reason why this asked, because you see, in person, or I guess this one, let me see, because over here we mentioned that yes, somebody is traveling with us. Let me find it. I got it. On travel companion, we have mentioned that are you traveling as a part of a group or organization? Then no. Are you traveling? Are there any person traveling with you? Then yes. We have mentioned relationship with person, which is spouse, name, and surname. So basically, this was my mom's details. After that, I have mentioned spouse with relationship with my dad, and because of that, in the family section, it asks for spouse details, because we have already selected in travel companion that my mom would be traveling with my dad, so it asks for all the information. So I need to fill all this information, and after that I need to click on work and education and security background. So let me fill this information. First of all, we need to add surname, your mom's surname, and then let's say this is, as I said, my dad's ID, so I will fill my mom's surname, name, date of birth, country of origin, and my mom's place of birth, country, and the address would be the same as home address, because there are like same as home address, mailing address, same as US contact address. If one person is living in US and then do not know another, so basically it would be same as home address in my case. Let's click on work and education history. So on this work education history, provide the following information concerning your current employment decision, primary age, primary occupation. So you can see there are different options, like whether you're doing any business, computer science, education, engineering, government, homemaker, legal profession, not employed, and every other details you need to fill over here. So sometime Uh, some parents are retired, so they can even select retired over here, which will not ask. Now if you select retired, then it will not ask any other employer information. But let's say you selected not employed, then you need to mention over here, along with, let's say you mention like it's a government employee, then you need to mention present employer. After that, what would be the employer address, and monthly income in local currency. It's, you can even select doesn't apply if you don't want to disclose it. And after that, what are the duties and responsibilities associated with this role. So in my case it would be retired, so let's click on retired. After that, where you previously employed, if every other detailed information. So you can mention employer name and employer street address, city, province, and all the related information. What was the job title? After that, supervisor surname. So if you don't know any supervisor surname, then it's fine. You can click on doesn't, like do not know. After that, when you started working till your end date, and also your roles and responsibilities. After filling your employment, it also asks for have you attended any education institution at a secondary level. So you must answer yes to this question if you have ever attended for any length of time a high school or a college or a doctoral program. So if it is yes, like if your parents or any other person who has attended high school, then they need to mention the institution name, address, and all the related information along with the course of study and from and to date of that particular course. So after filling this employment and work history, let's click on work education additional. So once we filled work education history, present and previous, they ask for do you belong to a clan or tribe? So in my case it is no. Provide a list of language you speak. So basically Hindi. If you know any other language, so you can even write multiple languages. So in my case, I knew Hindi and Gujarati. After that, have you traveled to any other country within the last 5 years? So if you have traveled to any other country, you can click on yes. You need to mention your destination. Let's say you have traveled more than one country, you can click on add another, and accordingly you can add more details. If you haven't traveled within the last 5 years, then it is no. Have you ever belonged to contributed to a work on your professional or charitable organization? In my case it was no. If it is yes, then you need to mention your organization name and details, everything. Do you have any specialized skill or training such as firearm, explosive, nuclear? In my case, it is no. Have you ever served in the military? No. Have you ever served in, been a member or been involved in paramilitary unit or vigilante unit, rebel group, or insurgent organization? No. Let's click on next. Do you have any? So there would be 5 different type of security question that you need to fill. Do you have any communication disease or public health significance? Then in my case it is no. Do you have any mental or physical disorder that pose or likely to pose a threat to the safety? If you yes, you need to mention this. It is no. Are you or have you ever been a drug abuser or addict? No. So let me fill all those information, which would be basically no. So have you ever been arrested for convicted any comments or crime? Then no. Have you ever violated or engaged in conspiracy to violate any law? It is no. Are you coming to US to engage in prostitution or unlawful commercialized? No. Have you ever been involved? Do you seek any engage in money laundering? No. So let me fill this. You can see complete has been done. Now it will go to the review state, and after that we need to sign. So they mentioned that you have completed data entry for your NIV application. Before submitting your application, you also need to please review your entry below. To navigate to the next section, the review, click on next button. So in this case, If you need, if let's say if you have to upload any photograph, then it will ask for a photograph which should be 2 by 2 size. Accordingly, if you submit it, it will accept it. But in this case, in India, Mumbai, it mentioned that photo will be taken on application sector, like photo will be taken on applicant service center, which is ASC, applicant service center, like probably in India, Mumbai, which I have selected in the first part of this form. So you need to see all the details provided that has been matched with your passport information. This is really very important because if there has been any discrepancies, it will definitely affect your application. So you need to see this, and after that you need to click on OK. So let's click on that. So once you have reviewed everything, like incomplete and in review, we needed to review every other details that we have entered in the complete form. Once it has been done, it will ask for sign. So basically, it is asking all the informations are correct. Did anyone assist you in filing out this application? So if we click on yes, then like we need to mention like prepared organize, or you have given any organization to submit this application on your behalf. So basically, if I'm submitting my dad's application or if my dad is applying, then it would be no in this case. And even though if you are applying for your tourist visa, it would be no. After that, here I need to mention the code which is given in the captcha, and after that the passport travel document passport number which is used for this application. Once this has been done, you need to click on sign and submit application. So this one was the last step of filling DS-160 form. After that, once this DS-160 form has been completed, we need to copy this ID and save it somewhere, as I said, and we need to go on second page, which is tourist visa scheduling and paying for the fees, which will be 185 US dollars, like approximately 15,000 Indian rupees if we convert it. So this is the last step of this. Let's click on sign and submit application. I will show you how it look like. Doing everything, it will ask for confirmation. So we'll see this kind of form where they will mention that electronically submitting a DS-160 online application is the first step in the visa application process. The next step is to review the internet page of embassy where you plan to apply for a visa. Most visa applicant will need to schedule a visa interview through some. Though some applicant may qualify for visa renewal, you must bring the confirmation page, like the confirmation page with this one. If you click on print confirmation, this is the confirmation page. This is not a visa. So you need to bring this confirmation page along with the original document, which is passport, to the application service center on the interview date. So if you see, you must submit the confirmation page with the clear and legible barcode at the time of your interview. If you do not have access to the printer, select the option to email a confirmation page to the email address. You may print or email your application for your own record. You do not need to submit the application at the time of interview. So the basically this is the confirmation page where you will see barcode and everything. Now you have filled DS-160 form. So basically, second step would be to fill appointment from India. So from India, all rules have been changed in 2025 from January. So I will explain all the rules in the second video where I have recorded every steps for scheduling the appointment. So press like if you're new, subscribe to this video channel, and also wait for the next video. So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.